What is up, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Spencer, and today we're going to be checking out what the Green Party has to offer, because seeing as I've got a lot more political lately, just in general, I feel before I commit to saying that I'm going to be a reform voter or a bigot and fascist, as it would be called, I feel like I should check out what the other parties have to offer. And I know the Green Party is picking up a lot of steam lately. I believe they had 3 Labour MPs defect over to them. And it would be nice to know what they offer before, you know, somebody asks me what, because it always comes up, family conversation, etc., about what you're going to vote for, or, you know, things like that, because people want to dig at each other and fall out and cause arguments potentially. So I feel like I would be ignorant if I didn't know what the other parties had to offer. So yeah, I'm going to check this video out to begin with, which is quick. 3.5 minutes of Zach Polanski, and then a bit of an interview also, just so I can catch his vibe as well.
I grew up in the north, not far from here. I remember I used to wake up with this hopeful feeling, not like I was in a cornflakes advert or anything, but there was something in the air back then, a kind of ordinary hope. I've spent the last 5 years up and down the country, listening to people on streets like this. I'm not sure we feel like that anymore. There's more a hopelessness. People
Yeah,
who are too tired to fight, too tired to sleep, kids going to bed hungry, parents lying awake in the next room knowing, powerless to change things. And people say to me, "Hey Zach, you're the leader of a political party. What are you lot going to do about this?" And I say, we need a fair taxation system. We need to...
I'm not going to lie, I already don't like where this is going, because if you can't afford to feed your kids, then you shouldn't have them in the first place. I know people have kids and then they soon find out that they can't afford to feed them or whatever, but are you working? Like, if you have a job, both parents have a job, or one has part-time, because there's no point in paying for someone else to raise your kids, you might as well have part-time, or one of you not work to raise your actual kids, so then you're having some input in it. But surely if you're working, you can afford to feed your kids. Like, do you smoke? Do you drink? And if that's the case, then you shouldn't. You should feed your kids. You should put your kids first, which is annoying. And straight away with the taxation, yeah, we'll carry on.
Tax for people with the broadest shoulders in a fair way, but they cut me off. Hey, I'm a plumber. I've been working 30 years. I'm finally doing okay. Why are you making me the problem? Or a hairdresser. I've just opened my first hair salon. Why are you taxing me? Why are you taxing my ambition?
Yeah.
And I wondered, why did they think I was talking about them? And now I get it. It's because it's too hard to picture. You see, there are some people in this country, when they go to sleep at night, they lay their heads on the pillows, just like us. They lie in the same darkness we do. But when they sleep, something happens. It's like the economy does a little dance for them.
And
when they wake up, without working a third job or doing an extra shift, they are richer, much richer. In one night's sleep, they make more than the plumber and the hairdresser could earn in an entire year. More than this whole street earns in an entire year. More than this whole beautiful neighborhood could earn in an entire year. In one night's sleep without lifting a finger. That's why it's so difficult to imagine. It's obscene.
Yeah, fair enough. I get where he's coming from there.
That's why we need a wealth tax. Not on plumbers, not on small businesses, not on ambition. Just a 1% tax on the assets of the super rich will help reduce inequality, give us warmer homes, an NHS that works, free and universal childcare and air our kids can breathe. And by the way, if anyone tries to say to you, won't the super rich just leave? A more equal society is good for them too. Since the pandemic began, billionaire wealth in this country has doubled. Meanwhile, millions use food banks and warm banks as a lifeline.
Yeah,
Some politicians seem confused.
But that's just because they're in it, you know, like you can't turn next to nothing into being a multimillionaire, but if you've already got $1 million and you know what to do with it, then money does make money for you. That's just the way it is. That's not a rich person's fault either. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's a well put together video, and I do like what he's saying about it, taxing them 1% if that is the case.
Do they serve the billionaires or do they serve you? I'm not confused. Ordinary people can't wait any longer. I'm here to make this call, but I can't do it alone. Will you stand with me? Let's bring back that feeling and make hope normal again.
I get it. I get what he's saying, but the problem is we've got too many people in this country now. Who am I to say that? Nobody. But that is my opinion. I think there's too many people here, and then everything is stretched thin. Like, it worked for years, and now it's not working because there's so many more people here. So what are you going to do? You're going to Robin Hood. You're going to steal from the rich to give to the poor. Which, if you're going to tax that top one, that 1% off of the billionaires, is that even going to make a difference to the normal people? Or is it just going to be more handouts for the lazy bastards that don't even work anyway? I don't know. But that was a well put together video, to be fair. I'm trying to be non-biased as well, because I've seen some videos and I thought he was a bellend, but I think he's alright. He's got a good heart, I suppose.
So happy to have you on there today, because I think there's an awful lot of interesting stuff to talk to relating to New York. I'm just going to ask.
We don't want to be like New York. I do not want to be like New York at all.
Well, the red poppy is for remembrance and the white poppy is for peace. And I think it's important both to reflect back on history, but also look to the future and say this is a time to talk about peace and diplomacy too. Right, let's get your thoughts on Zohran Mamdani's win in New York. What are the lessons? Well, I feel like I'm grinning from ear to ear because, first of all, I think it just feels like a delightful moment where hope has triumphed. And although that's about New York, I think it's also about improving people's lives, both in America, but that's what we need to do right across England and Wales. And I think what Zohran really did was connect with the lives of ordinary people, mobilise young people, and it wasn't just about social media. I think that sometimes it becomes about the communication style. He's undoubtedly an incredible communicator, but actually I think it was about the policies. It was a relentless focus on inequality, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. This is the thing that's interesting, isn't it? So he's a left-wing socialist. He's been unafraid in taking on the right. He's been very critical of Donald Trump. He wants to tax millionaires. Are you the British Mamdani? Well, he's much cooler than I am, and I think it's important to know where your coolness lies. But actually, what I do entirely intend to do is the same relentless focus on inequality. You're modelling yourself a bit on what he's done. Is that fair to say? Well, it's interesting. We were roughly doing it at the same time, actually. So I think this isn't about one person's learning from another, but I think the left more generally around the world are going absolute solidarity with minority communities, with trans people, with migrants. But actually, the problems that are facing them more than anything is inequality. And inequality faces all of us, other than multimillionaires and billionaires. They want the popular vote. So let's talk about what we have in common and make sure we take the fight to the right. The Democrats were sceptical about him, but he's won in New York and he's won big. Do you think that you could be the next Prime Minister? I think it's not for me right now about a focus on being Prime Minister, and that's not avoiding the question because I want to answer the question really directly. My focus right now, though, is making sure we get 30, 40, maybe even more MPs at the next general election. Now, that was what I was saying a few weeks ago. Since I've said that, I've been elected about 2 months today. We've over doubled the Green Party membership. We've had a poll where we have overtaken the Labour government. So to answer your question directly, it's impressive. Rapidly for me and the Green Party, and now 30 to 40 MPs is starting to look unambitious. I can't give you an exact number yet because we've got to go away, work the numbers and go, actually, if we keep growing at this pretty much exponential rate, what are our ambitions at the next general election? But right now, that isn't being Prime Minister. It's a long way to go, as well. As of Green MPs as possible. You say that 30 to 40 MPs looks unambitious for you. And I know you don't want to put a number on it, but can you give me a bit of a sense of what is the sort of target? What are you looking for? Are you looking to enter a coalition or to be part of a government or to
get over 50 MPs? What is it?
So we definitely want to hold the balance to power, because actually, ultimately, what I want for this country is to make sure that we are taxing wealth more than we're taxing work. I want to make sure we have action on the climate crisis, and I want to bring in proportional representation.
What does hold the balance?
The only thing tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm an idiot, but I think that the climate crisis is an absolute fucking scam. We're just getting ripped. We're paying money. We've had ice ages. Do you know what I mean? The country warmed up. That weren't because there was cows farting and fucking engines running back then. That isn't what melted it all. It's just Earth's natural cycles. What heats up, cools down. Do you know what I mean? We're just in that period of it warming up.
The power means.
My
Does that mean
opinion.
you would go into, say, a coalition with Labour or a supply and demand? What do you want to do?
Well, again, most politicians would say, I'm not going to answer that question right now, but you're asking me a direct question, so I'll give you a direct answer. I wouldn't go into coalition with Keir Starmer. This is a man who has perpetrated an ongoing genocide in Gaza. He ran on the coattails of Jeremy Corbyn, and I would say he ditched every single pledge he could. So I think the man's proven to be untrustworthy. However, I don't think he'll be Prime Minister at the next election. So it's very difficult for me to predict what a relationship between the Green Party and the Labour Party look like until I know who the future leader will be.
So
respect. I respect him for saying that 100%. Because, we all know Keir Starmer's absolutely fucked us. And I don't know what it's going to be like the next person in. I do not know.
Then? Are you saying that you might do a deal with him?
No, there's no way I'd do a deal with Nigel Farage.
So if you're looking at Labour, would a condition be? So I know I'm jumping ahead on all those things, but
never say never,
things
mate.
Have changed.
Justin
like you
Bieber.
said, your ambitions have changed. Are you thinking that one of your conditions would be a different leader of the Labour Party, for example, that you felt you could work with?
I'm not sure it'd be for the Green Party leader to demand who Labour led with, but I think Labour membership and people who are thinking about voting Labour in the past are increasingly voting with their feet and moving over to the Green Party anyway, as well as lots of ex-Tories who are joining the Green Party. It's interesting. Often the phenomenon is that we're just getting disillusioned left-wing voters. But actually, there's lots of people who are looking at Kemi Badenoch and going, I care about basic things like science and like decency, and actually those values lie in the Green Party too.
You're going to need to take a step back on your trans policies then, aren't you, if you're into science?
You gave a speech last night on climate change, and of course we've got the COP conference
Could be a problem
this week, the big climate conference. Do you have any high hopes for it, or are you or not?
I don't have any high hopes for it at all, but what I do have hopes, because that's the number one thing we have to do, is that we can sort out the climate crisis. We're in the crucial decade of action. We had the UN Secretary General just a week or two ago say we're going to overshoot some of those vital targets, and it barely made a headline. And I think that's because we've all been paralysed into this kind of fear and doom-mongering. There's nothing we can do about it. We hold agency and power, and when I say we, I'm talking about the country and the government. If we make sure that the polluter pays, we need to hold fossil fuel companies accountable. It is outrageous that we've just had a hurricane in Jamaica that has killed people and caused mass devastation. Why are we calling it Hurricane Melissa? It should be called Hurricane Shell. Or at this point, it should be called Hurricane Labour, because actually we still have a Labour government who are giving fossil fuel subsidies to oil and gas rather than subsidising things like they should be, like train travel.
Look, I understand.
How does a hurricane coincide with oil companies? You tell me. That's just what the world does. It just does weird, crazy shit. It's don't know
entirely how passionately.
I don't not like him
supporting these climate arguments.
I just don't. I can't get on board with climate.
Killed people, right? It devastated people's homes, and you're saying it should be called Hurricane Labour.
We'll just pay through the arse,
isn't it? We've seen protests against Labour MPs. We've seen people having panic alarms, and you're saying that the name of a hurricane should be the Labour Party.
That's funny, though, isn't it?
What is incendiary? The Labour Party aren't refusing to rule out the Rosebank oil field. This is a new oil field where the cumulative carbon emission impacts will be the same as 28 of the poorest and low-income countries in the world. This is sociopathic behaviour if they don't rule it out. So I accept that what I'm saying is strong language. But we need to have stronger language about the climate crisis. It is killing people. Now, are the Labour Party fully responsible? Absolutely not. The fossil fuel companies are responsible, and that's why I've said that. But they are still subsidising those fossil fuel companies, and there are consequences to the decisions that the government make. And so what I'm saying, I don't doubt people like Ed Miliband, for instance, really understand this issue and they care about it deeply. Steve Miliband's brother. But at what point are you still expanding aviation and expanding runways and not recognising your impact that you're having on the planet and the destruction of the planet?
You don't fly on planes, you don't drive, you're a vegan. I'm just interested to say, if you were UK Prime Minister and you were asked to attend COP,
sorry to hear that, mate.
Presumably means getting on a plane. What would you do?
I would go, because that would be a different circumstance. But I also always want to say to people that I don't fly and I don't drive and I'm vegan because I'm Green Party leader and I have the power and the privilege to make those choices. But none of it is about that. It's not about individual responsibility. It's straight back to the last conversation we're having. This is about government and big business making that system change rather than pointing at individuals.
So you're not trying to be holier than thou, basically?
Absolutely not.
What's your kind of advice? You must have a little, ungreen...
Do you know what? You asked me that last time when I was on the show, and I thought, I wish I had a better answer.
You must have something.
I mean, I love chocolate, but obsessively so. Vegan chocolate, obviously.
I don't think
and
that
as I'm
counts.
putting on the weight, I'm thinking I should probably put that
I don't think that
aside.
counts, I have to say.
I'll work on a better one for next time.
Amazing. Ribeye steak. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I'm going to go through possibly, and just because I don't really know what the Tories, Labour does. I don't know what side of the fence they're on either. I'm very new to this. I just know that I don't want unregistered immigration in a country where I live. So that's why Reform grabs your vote straight away. I know Nigel Farage had done Brexit with us as well, and then nothing came of that. I don't know. I think we didn't have a government in that can deal with Brexit. Like, I use Donald Trump as an example of a businessman. I feel like if we went through Brexit with Donald Trump, he would have an idea of what to do to get us through it. Whereas we haven't really done anything. We've still just been kissing up to the EU. But I don't know. Let me know down below if there's anything that I'm missing on Green Party. I think that covered everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you tomorrow.
I'm just a regular, everyday, normal motherfucker. I told you in the first song, I'll tell you in the